Here we go. Oh, here we go. Hey, Shalom Yahaba Hashem Yahushai Barakathum to all the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shamar Ilathah by Hashem Yahushai to the sisters. This is the ISUPK side of the 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yana. You understand? And this is the Tuesday Brotherhood class. You understand? Let's give the Lord a hand real quick. You understand? So today's topic, as the title says, as the title reads, who is the salvation for? So what we're going to be going over today is who salvation is for according to the scriptures. You understand? Here, Baba Kashad, turn that light on so it kind of turns down the intensity of that light. We're going to go through the water. We're gonna go over according to the Bible who salvation is for. You understand? Because of course you have these Christians out there that are talking about how, you know, the Bible is for everybody, salvation is for everybody, which makes absolutely no sense, right? Where can you give me off the top, Trooper? Where is a quick, fast, and easy example that salvation is not for everyone? Who had already what? How do I want to put it? What story, group of people had received some sort of salvation before in the Bible? It's going to be a whole lot more simple than you think. That I'm kind of wording it. I know I'm not wording it the best right now. Well, while the trooper has that question, right? He's answering that question. I'm going to ask that everybody make sure that they like and share the class. You understand? On ISUPK Nevada, make sure that you like and subscribe to our YouTube page. You understand? ISUPK Nevada. Make sure you hit the little bell button, all right? Because we're actually, now we've been stepping up our game out here in out here in Las Vegas. You understand? We're getting more interviews, more interactions with the people. You understand? We're stepping out and doing camp, and people are coming up to us, and you understand? You don't want to miss all of that content. You don't want to miss these questions, you understand, where you can actually get the, I guess you can kind of say like the feedback of the people of the world, you understand, try to dispute what we're talking about. And yet, you can actually see those battles, you understand? And if you don't want to miss those battles, then make sure you hit that little bell on our YouTube page, ISUPK Nevada. Make sure you subscribe as well. And then also make sure that, I see you, make sure that y'all go onto our Facebook, ISUPK Las Vegas, like and share the class, and then hit the thumbs up on the page. You understand? Again, you don't want to miss any of our content. You don't want to miss. Listen, we're about to boom out here in Las Vegas, and y'all don't want to miss, our growth. In fact, you should get your tails in this classroom. You understand? So you can be a part of the growth. But that's neither here nor there, right? So while y'all are doing that, because we're not like the Christian church, you understand? I'm not like your Christian pastor. I'm going to go ahead and practice what I preach. And like and share for myself, right? Trooper, you had your hand up. All right, shoot.
Would it be Acts 2:21 through 22?
Read it.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 2, verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. Verse 22. Ye men of Israel, hear these words. Jesus of Nazareth.
What is it?
Nazareth.
Okay.
Nazareth, a man approved of God among you by miracles and wonders and signs.
Okay, so I'm gonna cut you right now. I'll cut you off right now. So like you. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Now, you're okay. So what you're reading is basically what we're going to be getting into. All right. What my question is who had already received some form of salvation already according to the scriptures. Because so what you're reading right now is the salvation that you and I are working for. You understand? So that's the salvation that is to come. But I'm asking what salvation had already came to pass. Do you understand my question? Okay, now I think I asked it the way that I wanted to. what salvation, who had already received salvation. And there's importance to me asking this as well. It goes with you understand our breakdown. I'm assuming you need some more time. I'm still liking and sharing myself. I got buku Facebook pages that I got to press the button share to, right? In the meantime, is there any questions online? Is there any questions in the room? Do you have any questions past the question I'm asking you? You don't? Okay, we're gonna have to talk about that after class. I'm just to let you know. If there's anybody online that has any questions, please feel free to post them in the chat. I will get to your question and answer it to the best of my ability scripturally. You understand? If I'm unable to do so, I'll take your question, write it down, and get the answer from a mightier man than myself. You understand? We're not the Christian church where we're going to sit here and do the little shuck and jive and tell you little sweet, beautiful nothings that make you feel good because it sounds good. You understand? We would, in the ISUPK, we actually prove all things. We actually have the answers to the questions that y'all may ask or may not ask. Just know that we do have the questions here in the ISUPK. It's just up to you to ask the questions. You understand? All right. So I'm gonna hit you with that question one more time while I pull up the notes for today's class. So, and of course, if there's anybody online that believes that they have the answer to my question, post it in the chat. Get involved. Just because you online doesn't mean that you can't partake in the classroom questions and whatnot. You understand? This classroom is to edify you so that you can learn your identity, learn how you're supposed to move, learn the truth of this world. You understand? Basically, all around shedding yourself of all worldly thoughts and knowledge that you thought that you had. You understand? We're gonna shed all of that. You understand? So again, the question is who had already received salvation in the Bible? And I promise you, if I tell you, when I tell you, you're gonna be like, ah. If you're looking in the New Testament, you're wrong. Is that where you were looking? All right. So listen. So the answer that I was looking for, now that I got everything all squared away, first pull. So where we're going to start the class at is 1 Samuel 11 and 13. Let me get there myself as well. The answer that I'm looking for was Moses. Moses and the Israelites. How did they receive? Hey, Shalom Yahweh, Shalom Yahweh Shamar Elataba Hashem Yahweh Shai says it's good to see you. Shalom, Lord of Christ. Officer Bakar, it's good to see you, sir, in the classroom. How is it that Moses and the Israelites of that time were the first to receive salvation, though? Okay, how about this? We'll walk into that question, right? How does somebody receive salvation? What is salvation? You don't know? Okay. Hey, Shalom, Lord of Christ. Troopers, good to see you in the classroom, Mike. Okay. So you trying to achieve salvation? You don't even know what you're trying to achieve? Okay. One word that you can, that's synonymous with it, that's a synonym to salvation is like deliverance. Okay. So how is it, who did Moses receive deliverance or salvation from? Go ahead, you got the floor. We talking. Okay, the Lord gave them the salvation. He made that possible. But that still is walking into the answer. How? Okay, so Moses was obedient. So what did the Lord do so that Moses could have salvation? Okay, no. Now you're a little bit too focused on Moses. There's something in particular that the Most High did for Moses and the Israelites so that Moses and the Israelites could have salvation. What was that thing? Okay, now you're getting there because of course you have the what was it like the was it 7 plagues, 10 plagues? I think it's seven great wonders. Plagues. Right. So of course that's what he did to harden Pharaoh's heart. Because the Most High destroyed his their economy, Pharaoh's economy. You understand? Was killing, the people. Like it was death and destruction. You understand? So, but with those great plagues, so he brought him down. What did the Most High do to finalize all of that, though? Okay, he led them out of Egypt, but okay, the Most High destroyed Egypt. I actually gave you the answer on accident. I said it, but you understand, the Most High destroyed Egypt. For you to have salvation, what has to happen? Somebody has to be destroyed. Okay, so in this instance, from what we're talking about right now, is Moses and the Israelites. The Egyptians had to be destroyed for them to have salvation. So for us to have salvation today, who has to be destroyed? You could say America, you could say, so-called white Esau, right? All of the other nations, period. That's who's going to get destroyed, is all the other nations. There'll be a small remnant of all of them because, hell, who's going to build our kingdom? You know what I'm saying? So, but for us to get our salvation, they have to be destroyed. We understand that? Right. All right, Most High in Christ. So, we're going to start off at the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 11 and verse 13. We're going to start to get an understanding of who all salvation pertains to, who even qualifies to be able to obtain salvation. You understand? Because we're going to help you, Black, Hispanic, and Native American man, understand who's able to get salvation, out from the Bible, get that understanding from the Bible, but also we're going to wash that Christianity out of you. You understand? We're going to wash away that Christianity out your mind, so then that way you're not just thinking, leaning on Pastor Porkchop, who's just, doing a little song and dance for you and saying, 3 words of one scripture when there's plenty more words to read, let alone the chapter, not even giving you a proper understanding. You understand? We're going to wash all that nonsense away. You understand? So that you can fill yourself with the truth of the Bible. You understand? You're going to become, the point of these classes is for you to become a new bottle and to have new wine poured into you. You understand? And Christ actually said that. You understand? For you to learn the truth, to obtain the truth, you understand, to come into the truth, paraphrasing, of course, you have to become a new wine, or you have to become a new bottle. You understand? So a new creature. You understand? And then have new wine poured into you. That wine is knowledge. You understand? So go ahead and read that when you got it, Baba Kashai.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 11, verse 13.
Mm-hmm.
And Saul said,
it's Saul.
And Saul said, there shall not a man be put to death this day.
Uh-huh.
For today the Lord hath wrought salvation in Israel.
That's rock. That's rock.
Oh, rock.
No sweat. So right here is, we're gonna speed through a couple of scriptures in the beginning, right? Because it's very straightforward. It says salvation is for who? It's for Israel. You understand? Because now part of the reason why I started off with asking you the question about, Moses and the Egyptians and salvation there is, was there Egyptians that got salvation? Was there Hamites? Was there Hamites, period, who had gotten salvation? Was there Edomites that had received salvation? Was there, Asians? You understand? Who got salvation for the Egyptians? Just the Israelites, right? Now, sure, at that time, a part of that multitude, there were some Egyptians who walked out of Egypt alongside with the Israelites. You understand? Like, for example, Moses's wife was an Egyptian woman, and she followed Moses out, right? His first wife that we know of, right? She came out with, but did she receive salvation though? That's the question. How did she not say? Why do you say no?
It was only for the Israelites.
Okay, that's a great answer, but understand this as well. Of course, like, you don't know, that's fine. But when I ask you a question, I want you to teach me, because I'm a dumb Christian. I'm playing the dumb Christian. You understand? I'm turning my class over to you so that you can, you can teach me. You understand? Because now I'm new, right? So why can't you say that she received any of the, Egyptian wives that were married to Israelite men that walked out of Egypt? Why wouldn't you say that the Egyptian people, they had salvation?
Because they're Egyptian, not Israelites.
Okay, but give me more. We have the Zondervans. Where's that black book bag? Is there a black book bag over yonder? Yeah, the Zondervans. Here, you might be able to use this one. This one, it's got a different author, so some of the things are kind of off. No, the big one, the pictorial, the big one. Yeah, kind of. There you go. Look up salvation. Look up the word salvation. And let's read it when you got it.
Salvation. This is the English term. This English term is used by the KJV several times and rendered the Greek noun reading. In biblical studies, the English word is used primarily to designate the opening greeting. This is the wrong one. Salvation. What God in mercy does for His sinful, finite human creatures.
Okay, first let's stop right there for a second. Okay, so this is something that the Most High God does for His sinful creatures, right? How do you become who is sinful and who can be sinful? Everybody. So even the African can be sinful, huh? They can. What is sin?
Going against the Lord.
It's going against the Lord. What's the Bible say about what sin is?
Not following the law, statutes, and commandments.
Okay, pull for me for the book of 1 John. I think it's 5 and 3. It's either 5 and 3 or 3 and 4. I believe it's 5 and 3 though. I think 3 and 4 is the love. This is the love of the Most High. think 5 and 3 is what I'm looking for. Book of First John. It's gonna be further back. Look, so on the side of your Bible, it's abbreviated. So it'll say 1JN on the side. And you put your thumb on that, you should be able to flip to give or take that tab. So you gotta make sure you practicing this as well, like at home. Like when you're studying for your officer's test, man, pretend like it's camp, because them scriptures, those are scriptures you can use for class and of course for your camp speaking. You understand? So get familiar with it. Learn how to use these tabs. Get familiar with your Bible. You understand? Go ahead when you got it. 5 and 3. 1 John 5 and 3.
This is the book of 1 John chapter 5, verse 3. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous.
Okay, so it's 3 and 4 then.
This is the book of 1 John chapter 3, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
Whosoever committeth sin.
So whosoever committeth sin, go ahead,
transgresseth also the law.
So what is sin? Okay, so for you to sin, you have to transgress the law. Do you know what it means to transgress something? So to go against it. So take for an easy one. Thou shalt not kill. How do you transgress that law? You kill somebody. You murder somebody. That's technically what the law actually is thou shalt not murder. Because of course, we have war. Most High tells us to go and wage war. Most High tells us to go and slaughter lamb. That's killing, right? So it's murder, right? What's going on? You can move it, move it if you need to, or turn it down, whatever you need to do. All right. So now, going back to the original question, can the other nations sin? Can they transgress the law for what we just read? They can.
Whosoever.
Okay, no sweat. Now pull for me the book of Psalms, chapter 147, verse 19. Chapter 1, Psalms 147, verse 19. And of course, if there's anybody online that wants to answer any of these questions and what have you, feel free to post it into the chat.
147:19, right?
Psalms 147:19. Kind.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 147, verse 19. He showeth his sword unto Jacob.
He showeth his sword unto Jacob. Go ahead.
His statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
So the statutes and the judgments unto Israel. Go ahead.
Verse 20. He hath not dealt so with any nations.
He hath not dealt so with any other nation. Go ahead and finish it.
And as for his judgments, they have not known them.
So now, what happens when you transgress the law? But what happens when you transgress the law? When you sin, what happens? Huh?
Sin is the regular day.
Well, okay. So of course, not everything has the same the same punishment. Yeah, thank you. So not everything's gonna have the same punishment. Go ahead.
But in the Bible, it also says that no sin is greater than other.
Right. But okay, so look, when you transgress one law, you basically transgress them all. Right? But when it comes time for you to receive judgment in, let's say, for example, the law, thou shalt not steal, right? Now, what ends up happening when if you were to get caught stealing? Well, you have to replenish whatever it is that you stole and then some. Okay? Because you have to make it right. Right?
Right.
Now, is he being stoned to death for that? Is he going to be killed for that? No. So the consequence is going to fit the bill of your crime. You understand? Now, what other nation knows of these judgments? That's the judgment. You stole something, so now you have to not only replenish what you stole. So you stole a cow. You got to either you have to give the cow back or go get a whole new cow. Give that, and it has to be at least of equal value. And then like you got to make this shit right. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and plus another 30 shekels of silver or what have you. All right. Do the other nations know of this? Why?
They don't abide by that.
Why don't they abide by that?
They don't abide by the laws of the Lord.
Why don't they abide by the laws of the Lord?
Because they don't get the same judgment that we get.
But why?
Because we're Israel, we're not.
Okay, now you're a little bit closer, but why? You just read it in 19 and 20.
Because the Lord doesn't deal with that.
You're right. He doesn't deal with the other nations,
Right.
but give me more. Read it again from the top, verse 19.
He showeth his sword unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation.
So he hasn't shown those laws, statutes, and commandments with any of the other nations. Only Israel. Right? So read on.
As for his judgments, they have not known them.
So as for the judgments, they have not known them. They don't know what happens when, if you were to break the law, you don't know. They don't know what's going to happen. You know why? Because they never got the law. And what is sin?
Transgression against the law.
It's the transgression against the law. So now, when we go back to the original question with, the Egyptian women, the Egyptian people that followed us, that came out of Egypt with us, side by side with us, did they get, were they able to get salvation? Was that their salvation? Okay, but why?
Because the Lord doesn't deal with the other nations.
For one, he doesn't deal with the other nations. But two, they're not being oppressed because of the people that they were. Now, sure, you can argue and sort of say that, the so-called white man is getting oppressed. He's oppressing his own here in America. But is it because they're Black, Hispanic, and Native American? It's not because of who they are. It's just because they look down on their own. That's your own problem. You dealing with your own people. You doing that. You inflicting that pain on your own. You know what I'm saying? So now when it goes over to us, we're being oppressed. Moses and the Israelites at the time of ancient Egypt were being oppressed because they were Israelites, because they were God's people, because God was punishing his people for not following the laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand? So therefore, of course, they got salvation out of Egypt because of why? We're bringing that all again full circle to make sure that you understand. No. Why did the Israelites get salvation at the time of Moses?
Because Because they were following the law, statutes, and commandments.
They began to follow after what Moses was commanding them to do. Exactly. So they started cleaning themselves up in the eyes of the Lord. The Lord started casting out all of these plagues. Moses was, basically working on his brothers, working on his sisters, and and then also dealing with, with the Pharaoh, and to be a face front for the Most High God. Hey, let my people go. Let my people go. You understand? He said no, no, no. And every time Moses went back, basically, hey, listen, we got to make sure that we're doing this. We got to make sure that we're doing that. Blase, blase, blah. Right. Yeah, all the way to the point where, we came up on the night of the Passover. This is how you know that they were listening to Moses, because that Moses was teaching his people so that they can receive salvation. Actually, you tell me how. What was the last thing that they had to do that lets you know that Moses was teaching his people for him and his people to have salvation? The lamb's blood. Exactly. Give yourself a hand. Huh? Good job. Exactly. You understand? That was them showing their obedience. Because mind you, do you think now it's not necessarily written, but there's gonna be people. I'll just ask it like this. Was there people who, and I'm saying people general, whether they're Israelites, Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, what have you, was there people who didn't put in ancient Egypt, who didn't put lamb's blood over the front doorway of their dwelling place? There was. You get what I'm saying? So of course, those that were passed over received salvation. You understand? And those that received salvation was because they were following after the Most High God, what he was, commanding us to do through the voice of Moses, right? So of course, that's why, these first couple of precepts that we pull, it's going to be pretty straightforward. Salvation for Israel. But I want to really drill that into y'all's head. But I wanted to use this Moses and the Israelites and the ancient Egyptian to make sure that you at least understand at the very beginning. You understand how it worked the very first time, right? Okay, so let's drop that. Oh man, there it is. Go to the book of Psalms, chapter 14 and verse 7. Psalms 14 and 7. Oh yeah, we got it. Yeah.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 14, verse 7.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that the salvation of Israel.
Salvation.
That the salvation of Israel will come out of Zion.
Just make sure that when you're reading, like don't rush it, okay? So, that the salvation of Israel will come out of Zion. The salvation of Israel, not the world. Not all the people who dwell on the earth, of Israel. It is being specific. It is speaking about a specific people, a specific family on the face of the earth. You understand? Read on.
When the Lord bringeth back the captivity of his people.
So when the Lord bringeth back the captivity of his people, what do you think that means?
Salvation?
So say one more time.
When the Lord bringeth back the captivity of his people. Now I'm trying to break it down to myself.
So read it slow. I'll read it for you. When the Lord bringeth back the captivity of his people. So he's going to bringeth back the captivity of his people. Get context of it. Keep reading.
Jacob shall rejoice. And Israel shall be glad.
So when the Most High brings back the captivity of his people, who are his people?
Israel.
It's Israel. Okay. So when he brings back the captivity, Israel's going to be Well, okay, they're going to be free, but what does the scriptures just say?
Salvation.
No, what we just read.
Oh, you're gonna bring it back the captivity of his people.
And Israel's going to be
glad.
They're going to be glad. There you go. So what does it mean? What does it mean by the Most High is going to bring back that captivity? If the Most High brings back the captivity and it makes Israel glad, what does it mean?
Salvation.
Okay, yeah, you can go with he gave them salvation, but basically think of it like this. The way that it's written, it's saying he's going to take away the captivity. No longer are we. That's why when you said we're going to be free, I said, yeah. Do you understand? Like, do you understand why I was also making sure that you understood exactly what was being written, though?
Okay.
All right. No sweat. All right, go ahead and drop that. Go to Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 17. Book of Isaiah chapter 45 verse 17. Read it when you got it.
This is the book of Isaiah. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 45, verse 17. But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with the everlasting salvation.
But who shall be saved?
Israel.
But the whole world?
Israel.
So again, we've already read 3 different accounts where it's specifically saying salvation is for who?
Israel.
Go ahead and read that from the top, Baba Shah.
But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation.
An everlasting salvation. You understand? Forever. You understand? When we receive our salvation out of this captivity that we are in under Esau right now, or the so-called white man, it's going to be an everlasting salvation. This is our last time going through the whole nonsense in captivity. You understand? Which also lets you know that you really need to make your election sure now, because there's not going to be another iteration where we go through another captivity where you get an opportunity to prove yourself, that when you are knocked down at the lowest of the low, that you can rise above. You understand? In the midst, what was to say, in the valley of death. You understand, where you can still rise above and just stay focused on the Most High God. You understand? We're not going to have that opportunity again. Y'all throw this in the trash. Y'all throw this in the garbage. You push this to the side and ignore the warnings of the priests and prophets of the Lord in the ISUPK. Y'all are setting yourselves up for death and destruction. You understand? When we go into the kingdom, when you're brought back in the kingdom, you're setting yourself up to be garbage boy. You understand? And none of us want that for our brothers and sisters. You understand? We want y'all to have rulership. But if you don't want it, I'm not going to force a crown on your head. You understand what I'm saying? I'm in here in the ISUPK as a priest and officer of 500 because I am willing to put in the work so that way I could, Lord allow, get a crown of rulership, a crown of life. You understand? Going into the kingdom. You understand? For all my future generations. You understand? That's why I'm putting in this work. You can't actually put in the work if you're not in the ISUPK. You understand? And mind you, it's an everlasting salvation. So it's your reward or your punishment after this, this salvation, when Christ returns after this oppression, man, that's you are picking your position in the kingdom now. You want to act like a dirtbag now? You basically going to set yourself up to be a dirtbag in the kingdom. Of course, it's not going to be like how Esau, the so-called white man, deals with his people that he looks down on in his kingdom today. It's not going to be like that. Of course, we're going to have love for our brothers. You understand? But do you really want to be in a position where you're constantly having to look for a handout? You're constantly having to look for, man, I know the brothers got me, but like, man, I really hope the brothers come around so that they can, cover for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be in a position like that? It's lucky. I don't. That's why I achieve, I set out to become a priest and officer. You understand? He said, "What's up, my nigga? Love you ever since." You told me you my brother. Check classes. Okay, hey, Most High Christ. I can't really. Oh, hey, Shalom, little Christ. All right. So like you. Now I see your name. Okay, hey, Shalom, little Christ. All right, it's good to see you. All right. Love you too. All right. But hey, but y'all understand that? Read on from there. After an everlasting salvation.
Oh God. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded the world without end.
And we will not be an ashamed nor confounded world without end. In other words, we will never be embarrassed or be put into a position where they're saying that we're doing something wrong when we are living our lives following the law, statutes, and commandments. We won't be ashamed of that. Hey, Shalom, Lord of Christ. It's good to see you in the class. You understand? When we have that everlasting salvation, it will be forever. In fact, so if you were to put it in one word, because it says right here, ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. In one word, how would you describe what type of people we would be when we have our everlasting salvation? Because now we're not going to be ashamed of following the law, statutes, commandments. We're going to be in that position of power where we're making everybody follow the law, statutes, commandments, and in the midst of that, nobody can nobody can say that we are leading wrong. Okay. Yeah. Can't say. Yeah. I have to take perfect. But what comes with being perfect, though? One word. You're an asshole for using that word. It's lucky. I wanted something else, but that's right. Right. I can't even be wrong. I can't even say you're wrong. Because you won't be ashamed. Okay, actually, no, I can't say perfect is the incorrect word, because the lack of being ashamed isn't gonna. You're perfect, and sure, because you're perfect, you won't be ashamed. Sure, but what comes with that? We'll say it's a. You can describe it as a feeling. You're not ashamed because you're. I've never heard of blessed as a feeling. Okay, I feel blessed. I got you. No, you're proud. You're a proud nation. There's nothing that can come against you. And you're not ashamed of it. When you're not ashamed of something, you're what? You're proud. Right? When you are ashamed, when you're not proud, you're ashamed of it. I mean, simple as that. You know what I'm saying? Like when you like take for example, so I'll use myself as an example. When I was first learning, when I was a young man and whatnot, first learning the truth, and I was learning that, you couldn't smoke no more. And I was still doing it. You know what I'm saying? Took me, that was a demon that took me a good long while to knock, right? I was always ashamed whenever I did do it. You remember my little brother, right? Well, I mean, before he came in here, like we would be smoking together. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I'm like, man, I'm not supposed to be doing like looking goofy as hell saying this shit. It's like, man, you know, you gotta quit. I gotta quit. I shouldn't even be doing this right now. Blah 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 blah. I'm running through all of it because I'm ashamed because I know I'm not supposed to be doing this. You understand? Brakataya how I shy that, you know, finally I found that strength and that courage to finally knock it. You know what I'm saying? But I was ashamed of what I was doing. But of course, when you in the world, not knowing better, what are you gonna do? Man, you are prideful as hell when you know you are buku proud of all them pearled ass blunts that you just rolled up. You proud of it, right? But now when you look back on it, you ashamed. I'm ashamed. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. Not in the class. I'm not gonna say that. But I'm ashamed that I allowed myself to even get to that point where, you know, I got decent at doing what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? I'll say that. You know what I'm saying? So we'll go ahead and drop that now. Hey, Most High in Christ, I love teaching my class. Go ahead and drop that. Go to the book of Psalms, chapter 53 and verse 6. Psalms 53 and verse 6. Other direction. And again, I see that we got some new brothers and sisters in the classroom. If there's anybody that has any questions, feel free to post them in the chat so that I may answer them to the best of my ability. You understand? And of course, like I say in the beginning of the class, if I'm unable to answer myself scripturally, I'll just write down your question and get the answer for you on a later date. It'll either get brought out on the Thursday scripture breakdown class with Officer Shabal and /or on my following Tuesday Brotherhood class. You understand? Let's go ahead and get that. Trooper, I'm waiting on you.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 53, verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion.
Read that again from the top.
Oh, that the salvation.
Salvation. Go ahead.
Of Israel.
The whole world.
Of Israel.
White folk.
Israel.
Africans.
Israel.
Asians.
Israel.
People who break the law, statutes, and commandments.
Israel.
Of Israel. Go ahead.
Will come out of Zion.
Will come out of Zion. Go ahead.
When God bringeth back the captivity of his people,
mm-hmm.
Jacob shall rejoice and Israel shall be glad.
Now, we literally just read that, right?
Right.
Just like what Officer Shabal always brings out, man. Black people, it's just blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We love to repeat ourselves. Say the same thing in different ways just to emphasize our point. You understand? To emphasize what we have to say. You understand? Especially if it's something that is important that you are not to forget. Are you that hot? Grab that one too. Put that one on you. Yeah, both of them. Put both of them on you.
No, you good.
No. I'm Twop.
That's why I'm supposed to.
I'm just saying, you can take both of them. I'm Twop. That's fine. You understand? Hey, ain't no thing. You understand? All right, let's drop that. Let's go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 9 and verse 15. The book of Hebrews, chapter 9 and verse 15.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 9, verse 15.
Uh-huh.
And for this, cause he is the.
Hold on. Don't rush. Read that again from the top.
And for this, cause he is the mediator of the New Testament.
Read it again from the top. There's a reason why I'm telling you to read it from the top. Go ahead. Slow it down.
And for this cause he is the mediator.
For this cause. That's why I keep telling you, slow down. That's why you mix it. Listen, when I speed read, I do the same thing. That's why I'm trying to tell you, slow down.
That says cause?
That's cause.
My entire life I've said cause.
Yeah, nah. That's because, listen, look at the word and put in your head, put a BE in front of it. What does that say?
Oh.
Ain't no thing. Hey, listen, it's a classroom. If you're not learning anything, then I'm failing as a teacher.
Right.
You understand? Ain't no thing. Go ahead and read it from the top. Take your time. All right.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 9, verse 15.
Uh-huh.
And for this cause,
there you go.
He is the mediator of the New Testament.
Uh-huh.
That by means of death, for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament. They which are called might receive the promise of the eternal inheritance. So,
first off, what do you think I'm going to ask? Let's see. Okay, you can't read my mind? That's all right. No sweat.
Who might receive the first part of the promise of the eternal inheritance?
Okay. Yeah. But who was it that was called? It's like, who is it that was called that could receive the promise?
Israel.
It was Israel. There you go. Give me some hands. Exactly. You was right on it. You was prepared for this one. I think he was cheating. You was looking at my notes. Nah, it's messing. All right. Drop that. Go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 46 and verse 13. Isaiah 46. Again, for those of y'all that are online, if there's any questions, you want to partake in answering the the questions that I ask. Yeah, you understand? Don't be afraid to get involved with the classroom. This class is for y'all. You understand? For y'all to get edified. 46 and 13. I might have said 49 and 6. I think I did.
What did you say?
Did I say 46 and 13? Yeah, 46. Yeah, kind of.
This is the book this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 46, verse 13. I bring near my righteousness. It shall not be far off. And my salvation shall not tarry. And I will place salvation in Zion for Israel, my glory. Okay,
so again, now we're going all over again. Who is this salvation for?
Israel.
Exactly. No, you two out. You all right. Just make sure that, you do raise your hand, wait for that when I'm asking questions, but no sweat. All right. So it shall not be far off, and my salvation shall not tarry. So who is this I? Who is speaking? Isaiah. It's the book of Isaiah. This is his account. No sweat. No sweat, man. You understand? This is Isaiah. And now here's the kicker. What is Isaiah? What nation is he? What nation does he hail from? What nation, what nation, what seed does he come from? All right, look, I'm gonna tell you. Look, see me one time, because you shouldn't have to flip through them pages to find that answer. So see me one time while you think about it. Now look, understand this. All right, and I do this from time to time with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. So with the Israelite, when we're being practical, reading out of the Bible, you understand? What is Isaiah? Go ahead. He's an Israelite. There you go. You understand? And of course, I know that I'm asking us like ever. So the brother says salvation for Israel only. Exactly. Shemaiah said an Israelite. Exactly. I'm asking these questions because I'm, the same reason why the Bible reiterates the same thing over and over again, because we niggas and that's what we do. You understand? It's the same reason why I'm asking these same exact questions over and over again. Because what does it ultimately do aside from emphasizing it? In the midst of emphasizing, yeah, go ahead. I'm asking you. Exactly. It ingrains it into you. That's why these classes are so important. That's why we make it in order for these troopers. If they are able to make class, get your ass in class. That's exactly why. Because, in these classes, you're going to go over the same things over and over. I've taught this class many a times, actually, since I became an officer. But I've also heard this class many a more times. Right. You understand? And that's important altogether to ensure that our people get it ingrained in them to understand that salvation, this Bible period, is not for everybody. You understand? It's for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, or biblically speaking, the Israelites.
That's right.
You understand? Do I just press this again and then they'll go away? Okay, cool. Most High in Christ. So yeah, Most High in Christ, Shemaiah and Tabat, y'all did get the answers correct. You understand? Let's go ahead and drop that. Right? Do I want to drop this now? Actually, look up. So it says, it shall not be far off, and my salvation shall not tarry. What does that mean? What does it mean for his salvation to not tarry? Do you know what tarry means? So what you think we should do? Yeah, go ahead. And I'll take the Webster's for that. You don't have to take the Zondervan's. You have your phone, right? You said yeah? Yeah. Okay. And if there's anybody that's online that can tell me what it means right here, feel free to post it in the chat, right? Since I bring near my righteousness, it shall not be far off. You understand? And my salvation shall not tarry. What does it mean for his salvation to not tarry? Go ahead.
To delay or be tardy in acting or doing.
So how would you break this down, Trooper? And I'm really going hard on you on breaking down these scriptures because, you've already had your officer's test.
Right.
Well, not like that, but you understand? You got to learn how to break these down. Shemaiah, if you can give me more on that, because you are right. That's the direct answer that I want. But if it's possible for you to give me more in the context of what, like, how I want to word it. How can it not be, you know what? How can it not be the answer you gave me? Because I do want the trooper to answer, and I don't want to ruin it. Did you have an answer? No sweat. So the sister said it will not be delayed. His salvation will not be delayed. So go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say his salvation will not be.
No sweat. You too wild. So all right. So this is my question, right? Why is it that Isaiah's salvation won't be delayed? Or you can even say this for yourself, that your salvation won't be delayed. How is it that we can all say that? Go ahead. What do you think I mean by all? Exactly. So peep this, right? Because that was actually a good question. That was a very good question. When the Bible said, because you kind of asked it earlier, with I think it was in Acts that you had pulled, or something you pulled, where it basically said that whosoever believes, right? And that's why you thought the Africans can also, those Egyptians were able to get that salvation. You understand? When the Bible, so understand this book, you could put Holy Bible and then put FUBU. FUBU might be before your time. You know what FUBU is? What does FUBU stand for? If anybody in the chat can tell me what FUBU stands for, go ahead. No.
That's
it's not F you by us. Okay. So when she said, so Shemaiah said because he's following the laws, and then said we're following law, statutes, commandments. Those are both incorrect, but you are correct on this one. What FUBU is for us, by us. Oh, yeah. So the Holy Bible is for us, by us. You understand? It's only for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Right. It's not for anybody else. It's for the Israelites. You understand? But to go back on, the original question I had asked, right, with how that pertains to all of us for our salvation to not be delayed, is one scripture that you have to keep in mind is we don't even know when the Most High is going to send back Yahushua. On that day, when Yahushua is sent back and cracks the sky to destroy the other nations, so that we may have salvation, so that the Lord's people, his chosen, can have salvation. I mean, it'll never get delayed because you don't even know when it's coming. You understand? And then not only that, but I mean, hell, the Lord knows when that's gonna happen. The Most High knows. And in fact, it might even be on some. The Lord don't even have a set date. He don't even have a set marker. It's just, you know what? I see that, y'all all got yourselves together. All right, we done. Or it could be on some, I see y'all, you got yourselves together. Let me see how long this will last. How many generations this will last? You don't know. I mean, hell, think about how Jonah was sent to, was it Nineveh? I believe it was Nineveh. He was sent there to go and prophesy to the people, let them know, hey, if y'all don't change y'all ways in 30 days, Most High is going to destroy this city. Y'all have to change your ways within 30 days, because the Lord is going to destroy this city. He's going to destroy us. You understand? Right. Now, what ended up happening? You know? I don't really see. No sweat. Make sure that you read up on that. Very important. Very important. There's so much heaviness that comes out of that story. I see you. That it's not even funny. Maybe I should do a breakdown on that classic, because that's on Jonah, because that's a heavy, that goes into things like these fake Israelite camps and the break off and all of that. You understand? But so in time, the Most High decided, he changed his mind because he saw that Jonah did his job, and it put such fear in the people's hearts that they damn near all changed. They was all following the law, statutes, and commandments. And what did the Most High God do? He changed his mind. So not only was the 30-day marker removed, but I mean, well, yeah, it was removed. Right. The Most High God completely changed his mind, allowed these people to continue to live. You understand? So in other words, let's just say, because of course I can't speak for the Most High. The Most High ain't in my dreams telling me things. He's not whispering so that I have all this secret knowledge that nobody else has. You understand? If anybody tells y'all that, they're a liar. Get the hell away from me. You understand? First of all. But secondly, what we do know is that the Most High God said that no one knows the day or the hour. Not even Yahweh Shai our King, Jesus Christ in the English. You understand? Not even he knows when the Most High is going to send him back. So, in other words, it's all subject on us. We just know that we have to provoke the Most High. That's it. That's the only thing that we know. That we need to provoke the Most High on sending Yahweh Shai by following the laws, statutes, and commandments so that we can receive salvation. Exactly. So, I understand that. I was overthinking the questions. Salaki. The majority of these questions that you get in these classes, y'all gotta all understand is, man, if you overthinking it, chances are you just set yourself up for failure, to be wrong. And of course, this is a classroom, so there's nothing wrong with being wrong. You go to class to be wrong, to be corrected and edified, right? We all understand that. But you understand my point to even touching on that in the first place is just go with your initial gut feeling. Because if you already understand and are comfortable with, I'm in a safe space where I may get laughed at, maybe. I'm probably the number one victim of that. Just saying something, asking something just to get laughed at, right? If you're comfortable with that, then you should be able to just ask whatever. Say, don't be afraid to be wrong. Don't be afraid to ask whatever question that y'all have. You understand? All right. So we was at Isaiah 46 and 13. Let me make sure I'm good on that one. Right? Isaiah 46 and 13? Is it? Oh, I was looking at 45. Okay.
Yeah, 46, 13.
Okay, so we're going to drop that. Go to Jeremiah 3 and 23. Jeremiah 3 and 23. Okay.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 23.
Uh-huh. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me get there myself. My goofy ass. There we go. Okay. Salaki.
This is the book of Jeremiah, verse 23, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 23.
All right.
Truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills.
Slow down. You make sure you slow down. I want everybody to hear every word, right? So read that from the top.
Come. Truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills.
Okay.
And from the multitude of mountains.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so before we read on, what do you think that means? What do you think those hills are? The hills that it's referring to, those mountains that it's referring to. What do you think that is? Again, like what the sister was just saying, how, she was overthinking. Don't overthink. Because when you get the answer, you're like, yo, that's a lot. Like, yeah, there's a little bit to it. Because it's a bit of it is a metaphor.
Right.
But it's not some mind-boggling, extravagant thing. Christians do that. That's why they can't understand the Bible. You understand?
Uh-huh.
So what do you think? What are those hills? What are those mountains? And of course, if you haven't been taught what hills and mountains are a metaphor for in the Bible, then give me your best guess. But if you haven't been taught that, then I can see why you immediately go into overthinking. You understand? But just think of, since you said that you haven't been taught what those hills, what hills and mountains are as a metaphor according to the Bible, think about what a hill and a mountain has in common.
They're above sea level.
You're on a phenomenal start. I'll say that. I mean, you went straight to sea level, though. It's a phenomenal start. I have to give you that. All right. So, okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
They both rise up and go down. Like,
okay, they rise up, they go down. Not quite. Now you're kind of walking away. You're walking away from the path, son. I need you to be straight and narrow. Straight and narrow. It's like you. I just messing with you. But nah, so you are walking away from it now. So it's above sea level. Okay, we can go with that. That could be our foundation, so to speak. But what does a mountain and a hill, of course, any of y'all that are online, feel free to put your input in as well. What does a mountain and a hill have in common? Now you're back on track.
Giants. The biblical version of a giant.
No. Because the biblical version, okay, what you're referring to in Genesis, that's people. Not like giant people, but in a context of, Captain Tazariak is a giant. And Commander Johanna is much height-wise smaller than Captain Tazariak, but he's a bigger giant. Do you understand that?
Okay, I see what you're saying now.
He's a giant. He's, much renowned. It's about being a giant, as according to people, is renown. You know what renown is? It's like I don't want to say popularity, but people knowing you.
Okay.
So that's why I don't want to say popularity, but your name, people fucking, it's like people know you. Right. Like even Kim Jong-un. He's got great renown in this little itty bitty ass country that he's starving his people. He's got great. Everybody knows Kim Jong-un, and he's a terrible person to his own people. I don't give a damn, but you get my point, though, right? Okay. So, no, they're not giants in that context. No, they're not people. The hill and the mountain is not people. No, it can be structures though. Yeah, I'll give you a few more moments, and then I'll give you the answer. Now, what do you think?
Is it mean like, for lack of better vocabulary, like churches almost like?
You can consider a church on like to be a part of a hill, so to speak, because it's put on such high regard. And that's basically the best hint I can give you without giving you the answer. So just for time's sake, right? So a mountain would be, okay, so hills and mountains are people on high places. Where the mountain is basically, like that's always why it says, like it talks about how the Most High is going to put Israel, our glory will be on the mountain of Zion. That's our government. A mountain is a government because that's what rules over the entire nation. And quite frankly, the Mount Zion is going to rule over the entire earth when we're in rulership. Right? Because who's going to sit on top of it and rule with an iron fist? Is Yahweh Shai Mashiach. Right? He's going to be the king of all the world. Right? So now the hills, that's still people in a high place, not as high as a government, but they still have great influence on the people. So that's why I said, like, yeah, you can consider the churches to be in a hill, to be on a hill, because they're in a high place. You understand? Damn, Salaki, I lost my place. 3 and 23. Okay. Right? So truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills and from the multitude of mountains. So in other words, because what does the government sit there and talk about? And even what do the churches say? And this is also what's going to further prove what I just explained to you between mountains and hills, what the metaphors are of mountains and hills. These are the governments and these are the churches, the rich, et cetera, people of great influence, right? What do they all ultimately say, which is all the same thing? Because they're Christians and they know that Christ is returning. They believe that they're going to get salvation. That's what the scripture just said. Truly in vain. It's in vain. What is vain? What is vanity? You can look this up on your phone. Look up the word vain. If you got it, go ahead.
Having no real value.
Okay.
Marked by
having no real value. So put that in the context of what we just read. Truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills and from the multitude of the mountains. Because what is salvation? It's the deliverance from something that ultimately is oppressing you.
Right.
Who's oppressing the American government?
Themselves.
They're not even oppressing. They have no oppressors. So they're hoping for salvation for what? Your Christian pastors are talking about, salvation, we all need to pray for salvation. What does a Christian pastor need salvation from? He's on top. In fact, he's devouring his people who follow after him. You understand? So what does he need salvation from? The people that are on the hills and the people that are in the mountains, what do they need salvation from? They're on top of everyone else. Then, of course, you can use the metaphor of shit rolls downhill. So they're just shitting on everybody. I mean, hell, if you're on top of the mountain, you ain't getting no shit. What do you not? What's your issue? Right? Like, you understand how that works? Go ahead and read that. Read the rest of it.
Truly in the Lord our God is the salvation of Israel.
So truly in the Lord our God is the salvation of Israel. So now we just broke down what the hills and what the mountains are, right? People of influence, governmental structures, et cetera, people who lead the masses. Break down that entire verse for me. So I started you off. I need you to reiterate what I just taught you. So read it from the top, break it down, and then that last part, break that down for me yourself.
Truly in the salvation hoped for from the hills and the multitude of mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Truly the Lord our God is the salvation of Israel. So basically, all the Christians and Catholics that are hoping and praying for salvation in vain, which means having no real value.
So it's pointless.
Pointless
Their
prayers.
hope. Right, there you go.
The pointless prayers and hopes does nothing for them.
So with them being in their position, though, let me ask you this: what is the significance of that?
Nothing.
No, there is a significance because they are in positions of power, position of power, and of influence.
Amongst their people.
No, this also pertains to Israel as well. Is T.D. Jakes not a brother? He's a Christian pastor. He's a black Christian pastor.
Christian pastor.
So just because somebody's Christian, they're not your brother, even though they may be black, Hispanic, Native American. That's not your brother. Are you not trying to fish them from the world?
Yeah.
So you're trying to fish your brothers and sisters from the world, whom of which are going to be Christian, Catholic, Buddhist, Hindu. You understand? So T.D. Jakes, he's an Israelite, but he teaches all this he teaches a salvation. He leads a people to achieve a salvation that is in vain. That's vanity, right? It's pointless. Because what is the salvation that he teaches? Just think, Christian mega churches. What do you think that they teach? Because the pastor is leading by an example. What are Christian pastors known for having, or also known for the IRS coming after them for?
Taking the church's money?
Their riches. They think that having money that's salvation. Because mind you, their God is money. They worship money. Like that's why, hell, I'm pretty sure I've actually heard one of the mega churches when I was younger say, actually bring out what it says on the dollar. You know what the dollar says? In God we trust. That's the God they're referring, that the dollar is referring to, and these pastors are referring to, is money. That's the God that they trust in. Does that make sense? So now, reading on.
Truly, in the Lord our God is the salvation of Israel.
So truly, in the Lord our God is the salvation of Israel. So we know that salvation is for Israel. That's what I meant. We know right here it's talking about the salvation is really for Israel, right? But how do we get that salvation? Exactly. All right. So now we go ahead and we can drop that now. We're going to go to, I lost my doggone place again. Okay, cool. The book of Isaiah, chapter 52 and verse 7. Let me get that myself. 52 and verse 7.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 52, verse 7.
Uh-huh.
How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings.
Of him that what?
That bringeth good tidings.
There you go.
That publisheth peace.
Mm-hmm.
That bringeth good tidings of good. That publisheth salvation. That saith unto Zion, thy God
reigneth.
Reigneth.
Yeah, that's reign. So you understand? So again, our salvation involves blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to be in a position of rulership throughout all the earth. So what does that also let you know? That what I just said in turn what does that also let you know? No sweat. What do you think? Good things aren't going to come our way without being in the position of power, without us having salvation. So in other words, for us to have good things, we have to earn it. We have to earn our kingdom. We have to earn the salvation. It's not coming our way just by sitting around and just saying, yes, I believe in God. I am baptized in the blood of Jesus and all that other foolishness that they try to teach in these Christian churches. You understand? You actually have to put in some work. You understand? For the kingdom of heaven to even be built, let alone for you to be able to enjoy it in the first place, to be a part of it in the first place. Right. You understand? To even have a position of power in the kingdom of heaven. You understand? All right, go ahead and drop that. Now we're going to go to... Why does it keep doing that, man? It's driving me nuts. Okay. The book of Isaiah, chapter 62, and verse 1. 62 and 1.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 62, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
For Zion's sake will I not hold my peace.
So for Zion's sake will I not hold my peace. Right? So what is Zion? Who is Zion? Okay, Zion is the name of our government. Our government, Israel's governmental structure. So basically, Zion is going to be housed by 144,000, right? You understand? Go ahead and read on.
And for Jerusalem's sake, I will not rest.
So for the sake of my government, I will not hold my peace. You understand? Because I'm not gonna hold my peace because I want my government to come forward. I want the law, statutes, and commandments to be the forefront of all thoughts, of all decision making. Right? That's basically what's being said here. Right? And we also know that when Zion is on top, when Zion is in power, when Israel is in those seats of power, everyone will be governed by the law, statutes, commandments. All right. And it says, and for Jerusalem's sake, I will not rest. You understand? Jerusalem is the holy city. And it's supposed to be the most beautiful city, right? It's our holy land. He's saying that he will not rest for it until it is basically restored back to where, when things are set right, he's not going to hold his peace. He's not going to rest. Go ahead and read on. Until the righteousness
thereof go forth as brightness.
You understand? So until righteousness thereof goes forth as brightness. In other words, this is the light that they come, people seek out to follow. You understand? Because what does also the scriptures say in Job about Satan? Right? Just to paraphrase, it says that Satan is the bright and morning rising star or whatever. You understand? That's because he is Christianity. He is that standard of Christianity, what everybody looks to aspire to be like. Which, what is this? What does Satan ultimately want you to do? Whatever the hell fancies your flesh, do as you please. You understand? That's why all these Christians, they do what they see fit, what they think, what they themselves see fit to be righteous and good. You understand? Just like what the scripture also says, just paraphrasing it. You understand? A fool sees themselves to be, their ways to be good. Oh, okay, I got you. You understand? That's the way of these Christians. That is their light. What they strive to pursue is, whatever they think themselves to be righteous. In other words, they are the real definition of being self-righteous. You understand? They create their own righteousness. You understand? Because you know what? The only way that you actually know what righteousness is learning what the Most High God says. The Most High God says that you're doing something that is righteous, then you're doing something righteous. You get what I'm saying? Because you know what? If we were to lean on to your Christian understanding, your Christian pastor would be righteous. When he's sitting there stealing from the needy and the poor, the hungry, you understand, the homeless, he's stealing from them. He's stealing from his people to the point that they become hungry, poor, and homeless. You understand? How and what and where in the Bible do you find a man that is leading his people into that type of destruction and is referred to as being righteous? You understand? But in Christianity, that Christian pastor, he is the light for Christians. They aspire to have suits like him, to have, them gator boots like him, them G6 jets that he has. You understand? To have those mansions that the Christian pastor has. He is the light for them. He, just like Satan, to do what pleases you. If it pleases you to get, money in all criminal ways, that is the way of Satan. If it pleases you to be a homosexual, to do drugs, sell drugs, sleep with your brother's, with another man's wife, to sleep with men when you have a husband, you understand? These things, please. Satan's standard is for you to do that. That's what he wants you to do. And for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, he wants you to do that because he wants to prove to the Lord that you ain't worthy of the inheritance. You understand? Satan's job is to weed us, is to assist on weeding everybody out. What do you think the book of Job was for? Why do you think that the book of Job had such significance in the first place? It was to show how righteous Job was. You understand? That Job can find his fault, because obviously he did have a fault, and correct it. You understand? And that was to see that he wasn't above being dealt with. You understand? Because of course he was still an upright and righteous man. You understand? But that doesn't mean that you won't be dealt with. You will not be tested. You will not be shown. You will not be. You will be proven. You understand? You will be proved. You will have to prove that you are that fine gold. You are worth your weight in the precious gold, the precious stone that you are. You understand? Because of course the Bible says that the Most High will make men more valuable than gold. Well, you got to prove that. Not just to humans. That's too easy. People are too easily deceived. You understand? That's why Christianity is so prominent. Catholicism is so prominent. You understand? Goddamn, what's the mosque? Damn. Islam, Muslim, whatever the hell, you understand, is so prominent. Hinduism, you have all these other, there's so many different options, so many different ways to, get off track. That's exactly why the Bible says, and again, paraphrasing it, where it says that, straight and narrow is the path. And it's easy to get led off led astray into destruction. Salvation is a straight and narrow path. You understand? You can't deviate a little bit to the left or to the right. To dibble dabble in astrology, to dibble dabble in numerology, to dibble dabble in Catholicism, Christianity, Hinduism, all these other things that, it's just idol worship ultimately. You understand? Things that will just get you destroyed. You understand? Things that are not of the Lord, that are not of the Most High God. You understand? These things will get you, these things will lead you into death and destruction. You understand? Straight and narrow is the path only for salvation. You understand what I'm saying? Right? Let's see here. 62:1. Right? So, of course, and there will be a time where our righteousness will be the light, where people will look to our righteousness. And of course, that will be the standard in the kingdom. You understand? When we go into the kingdom. But that's still happening even now today. Why do you think that people are even coming into the ISUPK in the first place? Because we are still that light. We are getting brighter and brighter now. And once we get into the kingdom, there will be no other light. You understand? Because it will be the standard, and nothing will be a brighter light than, the light of the Most High, when we are all following the Most High God's ways. You understand? When we are displaying it, we have to display the light. You understand? Not to sound Christian or anything like that, and thinking about what I just said, this sound a little Christian, but y'all get what I'm saying. You understand? Because displaying the light is just, us being the examples on how to follow the law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? So now we're going to drop that and drop down to verse 11, right? So this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 62 and verse 11. Behold, the Lord hath proclaimed unto the end of the world. Say ye to the daughter of Zion, behold, thy salvation cometh. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. You understand? So let's break that down. You understand? The Lord hath proclaimed unto the world. You understand? And he says to his daughter of Zion. You understand? The daughter of Zion being, the children of Israel. You understand? Was all said. It's all said to us. We know what we must do. You understand? Behold, thy salvation cometh. We know that. We all know that salvation is coming our way. You understand? There's no Black, Hispanic, Native American church that doesn't know that salvation is on the way. Hell, we all know that the end of times is right around the corner. You understand? Behold, his reward is with him. You understand? The reward is with the Most High, right? And his work before him. Oh, so like the reward is before him. So the reward is within you, and the work is before you. So whatever work you put forth is the reward that you are building basically within yourself. So if you're not doing anything, you're not going to get anything. You understand? You have a large part on building this nation. You understand? Like somebody like Commander Junior Hanna, who just refuses to drop his sword. You understand? Or a mighty giant like I'm gonna say Commander John, General 12 Shield General Mahayaman. You understand? Or hell, Captain. So a big giant like Captain Tazariot. You understand? And everybody far in between and outside. You understand? Brothers who are putting in that serious work. They're putting forth that work because they know what needs to be done. They are doing it because they are building themselves up. So that way, essentially in the kingdom, they're able to, have that great reward if the Most High God so sees fit that work sufficed. You understand? But the point is, though, altogether, is that all of this is only subject to the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, to just the Israelites. You understand? It's not for everybody. It is it's for the select group. You understand? All right. Now we're going to drop that. We're going to go to the book of Zechariah, chapter 9 and verse 9. Zechariah. Nine and 9. So this is the book of Zechariah, chapter 9 and verse 9. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, thy king cometh unto thee. He is just and having salvation, lowly and riding upon an ass, and upon a colt, the foal of an ass. You understand? Y'all see how it's specifying just the daughter of Zion, just the daughter of Jerusalem. You understand? Because the husband unto each, the man, the father of each, is the Most High God. You understand? And of course, it says, "Thy king cometh unto thee." So that's, of course, that's the Most High God, right? But then on the, when we go into the kingdom, that's going to be Yahushua Mashiach, our king. So of course, the Most High God is the king of all kings, whatever dimension. You understand? But Yahushua Mashiach is going to be, of course, it's his son, because it's two different entities. Don't try to get this twisted up and say that, they two different, or that they're the same, right? That Yahushua is the Most High in just in the flesh. The only way that he is just the simple fact that Yahushua is on the same accord as the Most High God. You understand? Take, for example, my wife. She's on one accord with me. Does that mean that she's a rock? Does that mean that she's officer of 5500 a rock? Does that even mean that she's allowed to teach a doggone class? No. But she is on one accord. You understand? When it comes to this law, you wouldn't know, you wouldn't be able to defer the two of us. And that's what Yahushua and the Most High God are. They're just on one accord. So the way that the Most High would rule is the way that Yahushua is going to come to rule. You understand? And that's with an iron fist. You understand? And of course, we had just gone over the fact that it says, and having salvation. You understand? The Most High and Christ, man, they are just, and they are coming having salvation. You understand? When Christ returns, he is coming to bring salvation for his people. You understand? He's coming to destroy those that are oppressing his people. You understand? All right, now we're going to drop there. Now we're going to go into the New Testament, right? Get something out of the New Testament. We're going to go to the book of Luke, chapter 1 and verse 69. The book of Luke, chapter 1 and verse 69. Chip my dog on too, man. Go ahead and read that when you got it. And you know what? We're going to end it on this.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 1, verse 69. and hath raised up
Take your time.
And hath raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David.
So and now it says, and hath raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David. Who is the us? Where? Israel, the Israelites. So there is a horn of salvation. There is a horn that will be blown that basically signals Yahushua and his 200 million angels that is going to be sent for our sake, for the sake of the seed of David, his people, for the sake of the house of Israel. You understand? Salvation is not for everyone. This Bible is not for everyone. You understand? All throughout. And I wasn't really raised in like a Christian household like that. You understand? Like my mother's side of the family, I'll just kind of sidebar, just for a bit before we clip it though. My mother's side of the family, I spoke about this numerous times, they Mormon. So I knew like the Mormon side of, of the Bible and whatnot, which they hardly even touched on it. They have their own Bible, basically, right? So I really didn't know the Bible like that, aside from what society teaches about the Bible. So in other words, common knowledge of the Bible that isn't even real, right? Because I remember as a kid, real quick, when I would curse, I thought I had to pray and ask for forgiveness. Oh, sorry, God. I apologize for cursing. That's Christianity, heavily influenced with Mormonism, because them bastards won't even drink caffeine. I mean, hey, to each their own, but whatever. You understand? Well, some of them at least, let alone alcohol. You understand? But I never could really understand when I started to come into the truth and I see these scriptures, how people can get just so lost in the sauce or just not know, I follow the Bible, I read the Bible. And that's what I always would hear. Oh yeah, I do read the Bible. I do know the Bible. Woo. Even give you some verses, some good verses, strong verses. But it's like, but you didn't read what we just read? Salvation ain't for everybody. God didn't deliver everybody out of Egypt. You trying to tell me that God destroyed Egypt to deliver the Egyptians and the Israelites from, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense. Their doctrine, what they believe in, listen. I'm ended it with this, right? Christianity is like when you apply common sense to things like, science with outer space, okay? Where they sit there and try to say they know so much about outer space. Science is this, science is that. I watch a lot of, like podcasts with like Neil deGrasse Tyson, stuff like that, which, by the way, I think he's retarded, honestly. But, he does drop some gems here and there. And I like that kind of stuff, right? I'm a nerd. But anyways, they're so full, they're so sure of what they know about here on Earth, but yet, they still dispute whether or not physics is actually correct, even in just here on Earth, let alone the fact that when you go to a certain part of the galaxy, certain parts of the universe, physics, the rules, the laws of physics change, this, that, and the other. All of these things are altered. In other words, they don't know and they have no proof. They have nothing to back up what they have to say. You understand? With even just the simple world that we live in. Now, mind you, ultimately, none of that actually matters for us. Let's get our salvation, follow the law, statutes, and commandments, and guess what? The crazy thing is we'll actually be able to get those answers. You understand? In the kingdom. Right? But in the meantime, the things that they teach us with the sciences of the universe that we live in is just like Christianity. Well, they're just coming up with stupid theories. And if you can't dispute it, that is what the current facts are. That's what they're running off of. They have a prime example, and then we're done. Prime example is the fact that a bumblebee, according to the laws of physics, the math of physics, y'all can look this up. A bumblebee is not supposed to be able to fly. It is, to the laws of physics and all the numbers and whatnot, they are not supposed to be able to fly. You understand? But yet here we are. You understand? People often read the Bible, though do not understand it. There are many misinterpretations. You're right, sis, but you know what? Here in the ISUPK, we actually do have the correct interpretation. You understand? That's why we have these classes so that we can actually teach our people with and edify them so that they can have the correct understandings. You understand? And so now with that, Shalom Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai Brakatham to all the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shamar Ilathah B'Hashem Yahushai to all the sisters. Class dismissed.